maru ki te whenua, ti hei mauri ora. Ko tai nui te waka, ko te aora atu maunga, ko waiho te awa, ko ngā te tū iwi. Ko Rob Thorne hau. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora.
So Rob, tell us a little bit about your week this week here in Hawke's Bay.
Right, well this week in Hawke's Bay I've been workshopping as part of the Festival of Youth here in Waipukurau and Flaxmere, Taradale, up in Wairoa, and here today in the Hastings Art Gallery. I've been workshopping with a number of different school-aged children, from primary to intermediate and even some college students. I workshop usually with around about 30 each workshop, and they come to terms with one of 3 taonga pōro musical instruments, and then they learn to play that instrument, and then they learn to collaborate with it, and then they learn to come together as a group and make music together. I work with basically 2 main premises in the workshop, and that is improvisation and collaboration. And we talk about how improvisation and collaboration are not just musical skills, but they are actually life skills and what I call rules for life.
Beautiful. And from your perspective, what have you found working with these kids this week? Some of those special moments that you've experienced this week?
So I'm always amazed at the way that young people take risks and really commit and invest to the learning and to the challenges that they're presented with. I think really when it comes to workshopping something like this and workshopping performance, and especially with music that people are not familiar with, and musical instruments that maybe they've never even seen, let alone played, I think the biggest thing for people is the risks that they have to take. And the other challenge is time. There's always a time challenge, so the workshops are 90 minutes, and in that time we'll put together a performance that we present to the whole school, and that alone, when it comes to coming to terms with something, learning how to do it, then putting something together, and then to perform it in front of a whole school, I really want to honour the way that young people always rise to the challenge and seek to get as much out of it as they can.
So is there anyone or anything that you'd like to acknowledge about this week, as I know that this week has been a challenging one for you personally, as well as and I'd love to just sort of, is there anyone you'd like to acknowledge throughout this experience?
Well, I think it's always really important to acknowledge the people that dream up these amazing things and then organise them. So I'd really like to acknowledge Dan and the work that he has done creating and then building and growing the Festival for Youth. I think what he's doing here is a wonderful thing, and the education programs that he's bringing in, for example, with taonga pōro, and expanding people's minds around tradition and modernism, and then to seek to invest that with students into a greater production later on is a fantastic thing. I don't think you can put a dollar value on it. I think also I'd really like to acknowledge the people that provided the means and the finances to make that happen. So Hawke were really heavily involved in the funding of the workshops to schools, and I met a few of those people, and they're very generous and very kind, and I think it's really important to recognise them for what they've done. I think it's always easy to look at the school kids and not think about the culture of the school or the teachers. So I always want to acknowledge just how hard the teachers do work to create a safe space where children can then take risks, and that's a wonderful thing. It's always wonderful to meet great school kids, and then to look around and to see the teachers that really make those kids shine.